Hello, welcome to a special Q&A where I answer questions first about where I don't speak English. Okay, I'm going to answer questions that people on Instagram asked me about 6,000 years ago that I'm finally answering. They're about my business. They are not necessarily business advice questions, more so like how did I get started, how did I blah blah blah, stuff like that. You will have to keep watching to see the questions. Okay. Um First question, have you ever done local markets or fair events? No, I have not ever done that ever. Not at all. I have wanted to. I have contemplated it. I still think about it, but realistically, um, I would already have to have money and time in order to create enough products for an event, if that makes sense. Because I would have to have had a second job to support my livelihood while I prepare for an event because crochet, that's what I do. It takes forever. It takes forever to make stuff. Even if I had 10 tops, that's not enough profit for me to go and do an in-person event. I'd need to have a lot of stuff happening, and it's just, I feel like it's not as cost effective as just doing customs. You know, ready to ship is great. I think I have a whole video about this, customs versus ready to ship, but for me personally, no, that's a waste of my time, and it's not my passion to go and sit outside and wait for people to buy my stuff. I think it would be fun. All right, don't get me wrong. I think it would be great fun to do that and meet other artists, but I don't even really like doing that most of the time. I like to just be by myself and making things. So yeah, I never done those, but I wanted to try it with resin because, or like maybe crochet earrings because those things are easier for me to make. Don't take as much time, but I don't know. I think maybe when I have a more settled lifestyle, when I feel more like just secure and stable, then maybe I will go branch out. So in about 10 to 15 years. Okay, that's a long answer. All right. How long did it take you to really start selling? How did you build a following and market yourself in the beginning? To really start selling consistently, it took me, it's hard to say because when I first started, I sold my first thing I ever made the next day, and it was a Moogle purse, a Moogle bag. Moogle is a Final Fantasy creature. Google it. But I don't have shorts on, or else I'd show you my tattoos. But uh, yeah. So after that, I worked part-time jobs when I first started my business until I really like realized I could do it on my own. So okay, so when I transferred from community college to I went to UCSB, that's when I started really selling. So it's really hard for me to answer that question. It started right away, to be honest. I kind of don't remember there being a gap from basically when I was working a part-time job with my crochet business. I don't feel like I was really selling. But when I moved and I was basically living off of financial aid, I really started selling. I think I was just devoting the rest of the time I had from, going to school and commuting to just my business. And I was working a lot though with crochet. I was like working like 6 to 8 hours, however much I could. And I was having a lot of insane sales. I was back when I was making tops for $10, and I hate myself when I think about that. But yeah, I started selling immediately because my business was everything. It was my whole income. Okay. How did I build a following and market myself in the beginning? Oh yeah, I didn't answer that. So how I built a following was by being on the internet a lot and kind of looking at people who were interested in the kind of tops I would make. Like I would find my market. Basically, it was like age 18 to like 35. Um, Mostly women, obviously. Sorry, there's a helicopter, so I'm just gonna wait for it to finish investigating this area or whatever it's doing. Um, oh yeah, I would actively go and look for people who would potentially be interested in my products, like young women at raves, other artist type folks, you know, I would research like my tags, you know, things that I would use, like 70s inspo, 70s style, you know, people who wear tie-dye. You know, it's kind of funny because you have people who wear tie-dye and have this shirt on. Okay, it doesn't matter. Anyways, you kind of have to, you don't have to, but like, I kind of stereotyped my style, because in the beginning, because it helped, like, me find the customers, basically, because I'd like their picture and they come check out my page, you know, and they'd be like, oh my gosh, blah blah blah, and then, you know, I have a potential customer. That could take time. There are actual bots you can buy that will go and like pictures, people's posts for you. I think that's stupid. Even what I did was, like, you could say it's kind of dumb to go and waste time doing that, but it was never a waste of time, honestly. Back in the day, when Instagram was chronological, this was very effective for me. Like, the majority of people's posts I liked would come and check out my page and follow and buy stuff. So it doesn't work as much anymore. I don't do it at all. So if you're starting out, I think it still could be effective, you know, in terms of marketing yourself in the beginning. That's how I did. I took a lot of pictures of myself. I wore all my own tops. You know, I don't like dress forms and mannequins because I have a weird phobia about them, so I don't use them. So I modeled all my stuff, and that helped market in the beginning, a lot. I was very on it, you know, right away when I knew that this was what I was gonna do. I made a bunch of different designs. I modeled all of them. You know, that's kind of that's how I kind of built a following, I think. I hope that answers the question. I'm going to answer all these questions as long as possible because I'm long-winded. How did you let people know of the stuff you make? Oh, that kind of answers the first question, which is basically kind of like the same question. Basically, I would like other people's posts, you know, and get them to notice me. Because I didn't really know another way to do it. I didn't have anyone shout me out. I've never used promos. I've never worked with people who would be like, oh, can you send me stuff and I'll model it for you? Never. Because I think people should pay for the things that you create. You know, I don't like sending out stuff for free unless it's a giveaway, you know, to show gratitude for being a successful business, but not just because someone has a larger following than you. I don't know how often that works. I know it can work. I have never tried it. I'm not going to try it. So yeah, I've always been able to just wear my own stuff. How did you find your style? I don't know. I don't think I have a style. I would like one. I think the closest I ever got to having a style was all the flower things I make. They kind of seem to vibe together, and I haven't seen anyone do flowers like me, and I like it. It makes me feel like I have something that is mine. But as far as like style, I don't have a style. You know, chaos, colors. I just existed. How did I find my style? I don't know. I don't think I have found my style yet. I'm working on it though. Okay. How did you end up getting so many followers and actual customers? I don't know. They just came. I tried to find them, and then people started finding me, and they liked my stuff. How long did it take you to support yourself by crocheting and not need another job? How long? 2 years. Maybe. 2 years. I don't know. 2 years. I'm going to say 2 years because that's the 2 years I was in college. And I was in college for 2 years when I transferred. When I was finishing up my BA, I was, like I said, I was using financial aid. So I still had financial aid, but then I was realizing that my business was covering all my expenses, not tuition, just like rent, gas, car maintenance, you know, food. It was covering those expenses, all my bills, just not tuition. And that's kind of when I realized, like, hey, I'm doing this. So yeah, 2 consistent years of hard work, and then I have been full time ever since then. So it's been like 7 years, I think, of full time. 7 or 6 years. I don't know, I was 23 when I was in college. I don't remember. Time management. How do you keep up with production without always being late? how to stay motivated when you have a day full of making orders. I've definitely been late before. Uh, Definitely not anymore though, because the way I do my orders, my time frame now is I don't ship on weekends and I don't ship on postal holidays. So even when I tell someone something will take 3 to 4 weeks, I have the peace of mind of knowing that that is not a real 3 to 4 weeks. My 3 to 4 weeks is way longer, not way, it's like an extra 10 days longer than a standard 3 to 4 weeks. And that kind of gives me time to be a human being, to have like bad days and lazy days, and without having to stress about, oh my gosh, I'm not getting anything done. Because I used to be like, my turnaround time used to be insane. I don't know how I blacked out that part of my life, because I don't know how I was able to work so much so quickly. But now I definitely space out everything. I also I used to take on as many orders as possible, and now I cut myself off at a certain amount for a particular style. I'm always taking customs. I still have never closed my custom orders, but for certain designs, I only take like 4 of each design now, because that is actually the worst thing, is making the same thing over and over again. At least from my perspective as an artist, I have to keep doing things differently. I have to have time where I can just do whatever I want and make whatever I want without feeling guilty. So I only take on a certain handful of each design I make. How to stay motivated when you have a day full of making orders. Kind of like, I just love what I do. It's exciting to make stuff. There are definitely some days where I don't want to make a particular design, but I time myself. I don't work on it more than 2 hours a day. So that's kind of a relief for me, knowing that, okay, I have to make this. I don't really feel like it, but I only have to do it for 2 hours of an entire day. That's nothing. So that's kind of how I stay motivated. And also, I watch lots of fun stuff. That helps. I listen to music. Sometimes I don't really actually like to crochet and listen to music because it's distracting. But sometimes I'll call my sister and we'll hang out, and I'll make something I hate making while I hang out with her, which makes it a lot more fun for me. She lives like 1,000 miles away, so we hang out on the phone. But yeah. Okay. What was your journey to doing this full time? Did you go to school or have another career? Yeah. So my journey to doing this full time was, I took out a loan, student loans, and I moved out of my mom's house into a completely different city where I was going to school. I was living in San Luis Obispo, that's where I got my first apartment. It was an amazing apartment above an art gallery, the Hands Gallery. And I was commuting an hour and a half to go to UCSB almost every day while running my business. That was an insane part of my life, but it was so fun. I don't regret that at all. Everything about it was great. But then I moved closer to UCSB in my last year. I only did it for a year. And I started really trying to figuring out like what I was going to do, because I was studying religion and I knew I just wanted to make art. So that's kind of like the last year of school is kind of when I was like figuring out where I wanted to. Oh my god, there's a huge bug on my window. I feel like I'm being haunted. I'm sorry. Okay. My gosh, what is that? I spent the last year of school like figuring out what I was gonna do with my life, and then a lot of other crazy things happened. But I mean, I've been able to do my business through it also, because my business is very travel friendly. Not as much anymore because I just have too much stuff now, but yeah, I never, after I was in school, I never had another career. But some things I did prior to going full time was, the first job I ever had when I was 19, I worked at Little Caesars for 2 years. One of the best jobs I ever had. Met a lot of really fun people there. Then I worked at Sears for about 3 months, not even, like 3 weeks, because I quit because I hated it. I worked at Baja Fresh for 6 hours, and then I quit because I hated it. I got my AA in music, and then I got a job teaching music to children, and I did that for about 6 months. And then that's when I transferred to UCSB, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna just crochet now. I don't like anything else. All those jobs I had before were great at teaching me that I didn't like it and that I wanted to just do my own thing forever. So I've been working on doing that. Yeah, I've had no other job for the last 6 or 7 years. How old am I? 29? Yeah, for like 6 or 7 years. God, that bug is so gross. Okay, thanks for your questions. Hope I answered them okay. I'm getting really tired. That's probably why, like, my energy is drifting. I've been talking in front of the camera all day, trying to put some more videos out there for you guys. I hope that you got to know, I guess, the business part of how it started a little better. Thanks to everyone who sent these questions. I hope I answered them okay. I will see you later. Bye.